Okay, sir. So last Sunday we have taken just one session, two session on Sunday. So here we have taken, before entering into the Databricks of Spark. So here we have discussed about Hadoop distributed file system. And simply overview of Hadoop architecture we have taken. And in the second part, we have discussed about how Spark process the data. And what are Spark advantages we have seen. A simple briefing, the Spark advantages. Number one, in-memory computing. Number two, massive parallel process. That means you can say MPP with a flexible parallel process. These are the major advantages. Still other advantages are there. See, basically in-memory computing is faster than disk computing. So in the case of disk computing, there are different life cycle: disk to virtual memory, virtual storage to again physical memory like RAM, RAM to processor. Again, processed results will be into RAM. Again, processed one come back to VM, come back to disk. Again, next level of data will be released. In this way, a lot of cycles are more. So it will cause latency. In case of in-memory computing, directly the cycling between RAM and CPU, that means processor. So this is 100 times faster than disk computing. MPP means, massive parallel process. That to the flexible parallel process, so that you can increase nodes. You can increase nodes in parallel process. Okay. So all of you, after completion of this session, please watch last Sunday sessions about how Hadoop will work and how Spark will work. You will be understanding. Okay. Now come to now. In Spark, we execute data flows. So what is the meaning of a data flow here? Data flow is a sequence set of data operations. Sequence set of data operations. So what are all the different operations available for the data here is operations over data are two types here. Number one, transformations. And number two, actions. transformations and actions. So to understand these 2 points, we need to look at one example. I will take picture from this onwards. Sorry. Yeah. Look at one example, sir, here. Step 1, reading data from file. What is its equivalent statement? I will show in the right side. Step 2, apply filter. Step 3, execute and collect flow. So in this example, this is a transformation in Spark terminology. Transformation. This is called action. Let's see one example here. You have a file. Let's say file1.txt, which is some data lake file or HDFS file, whatever it may be. Okay, for some time it is HDFS file, Hadoop distributed file system. I am saying R1. This is one RDD. What is RDD? Just wait for a few minutes. Till then, just assume it as a data object. R1 equal to SC. SC means Spark context. I want to read a data from a file means here the statement will be like this: sc.text file. And I am giving path of this file. Suppose the file path is like this: my big data slash file1 dot txt. Okay, this is your data object number 1 simply in Spark. The data objects are called RDD, resilient distributed data set. That is a full form of this. See, think that in the file1, the data shape is like this. Think that the last field is city. Okay. For easy sake, just imagine there are only 3 rows. In the case of step 2, I'm going to apply a filter on this data. R2 equals to input for R2 is R1. R1 dot filter. R1 dot filter. Okay. So here I did not give this entire line is treated as single line. I want to take last. I want to take last one. So the filter style is like this. Later I will explain each and everything. Lambda sum x colon. X means here this entire line. I'm applying x dot split. Delimiter, comma. If comma is the delimiter, based on comma, if I split it, I get 3 elements. Last element I want to take it. -1. In Python, -1 index means the last one. If it is equals to Hyderabad, this is what simple one filter condition I am applying. If condition true, then only that element is taken. Suppose for the first element condition true, for the second line condition false, for third line again condition true. After completion of this R2, I find only first and third one into R2. Got it? Now, in case of step 3, I am doing this R3 dot collect. Here, the first one, second one, both are transformations. Okay, the last one, R3, which is action. In this example, collect is just one action. In this way, similar to collect, a lot of other actions are available in Spark. Similarly here, not only filter is a transformation, filter, map, flat map, okay, reduce by key. In this way, other different transformations are available. So what this is the meaning of a data flow. So when compared with other programming languages in Spark, the coding style is completely different. This kind of coding is called functional programming with data flow style. So I'm coming back to this one, especially these 3 points. Still more discussion on this. Okay. Again, I'm coming back to your previous discussion. 2 types of data operations. Number 1, transformation. So as per Spark, what is the meaning of transformation is, it can be reading data. Okay. Or it can be a filter. That means elimination of some rows and taking wanted rows. Or it can be something like a performing manipulation of data, or performing some action, some operation on each element. Each element of a collection. All these things are treated as transformations.
Can you specify? So can you specify what some operation, like for example?
Yeah. See, example for this, already have seen sc.text file. Okay. But by using this, you are creating RDD. Once RDD is created, next onwards, your filters will be started. Let's say filter is one example for the RDD. And map, I want to do some operation on each element of the data, means the example is map. If object is multi-dimensional object, another one is flat map. Okay, reduce by key. This is for grouping aggregations. In this way, different, even union, join, again, left join, right join. In this way, SQL related operations also available. All these things are called transformations. Okay. If you say actions, number one is transformations, number two, actions. Actions will trigger execution of flow, will trigger execution of a flow. On a RDD. What is the meaning of this one? Let's try to elaborate this. I'm coming back to the previous example. First, we have taken R1, sc.text file something. That means you are reading data from a particular file. After that, you are applying a filter on that one. R1.filter and some condition. Forget about what should be there in the internal sub brackets. We will start with step-by-step coding mechanism. Then finally for R3, you said R3 dot collect. Whenever you said collect, R3 dot collect, the flow, it's not R2, R3, it's R2. Because R3 you did not create. On R2, you are applying an action. This is action. So this triggers flow execution. How flow will be executed? You applied this action on R2. What is the input of R2? What is input of R2? R1. The flow will be executing from R1. R1 execution. And after completion of this, R2 execution. After completion of executing this, data collection from the cluster. The results. Data collection means here results. From Spark cluster. Okay. One more example, let's see. Sir, whenever you have questions, please stop me and ask me. Except coding part, try to understand what is the meaning of a flow. One more example I will show you, sir. I am expecting a flow like this. Think that this is one simple comment. The file is comment.txt. Okay. I want to read this file. sc.text file. After I am giving this file path. Think that I am giving the file path something of Hadoop path, and after that comment.txt. So whenever I have initiated this, this is having 3 elements. Each line has a separate element. Okay. In second, I'm going to do something. R2 is equal to, for R1, I am applying R1 dot flat map. Actually, the content of R1 will be like this. One list, first line, second line, and third line. Now I want to take each line again, I want to cut off based on the spaces. For this, some other operation. You just don't care about this syntax now. Lambda x equal to x colon x dot split, I am saying. Default delimiter is space. Already space is here. Okay. Now already I have this one. Again, each line is cut off into one more list, like hello, hi, and hello. Again, second line, hi, hello, hello, like this. Again, third. Now your input is a list of list objects. This list of list object, I want to make it as single list. That's why here flat map. Now what is the output of this one is hello, hi, again hello, hi, hello, hello. Like this. Okay, that is what second transformation. In the third transformation, please observe R3. For R3, my input is from R2. Okay, R2 dot map of lambda x colon. That means each element will be coming into X. I want to make it as key value pair, like this. This is a tuple object in Python. A key value in the place of value, one constant value I am giving. Now the output of this one till now, the expected result from this third step is hello 1 as a tuple. Again this one, hello, hi 1. In this way, for each word I will be getting. After that, I am going to apply grouping aggregation. R4 is equal to R3. R3 dot reduce by key. Lambda x comma y colon x plus y. So what exactly the meaning of this double notation? Now please stop thinking about that. Okay, till I explain about the transformations, what are all the different transformations available, how each transformation will be working, then only you can understand that. Now the result of this one is like this. The word hello, how many times it is repeated, sir? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. After that, my next word is what, sir? Hi. Hi, how many times here? 2 times. This result will be computed by the fourth shot. Now I am saying that R4, your processed result is in the recent RDD is R4. R4 dot save as text file. And I am giving my output file path. That is the result.txt. All of you observe this. Once again, I repeat, please forget about statement and syntaxes. Look at only this one. What can be applied? What type of operations on RDD, sir? What are the operations on RDD? Two things. One is transformations.
And actions.
Second one is actions. Come on, in this example, totally how many RDDs in our flow? Total how many RDDs? 4 RDDs. R1, R2, R3, R4. Just by seeing this shape, you tell me, what are transformations here? What are transformations and what are actions? In the first step, as usual, you are just initiating your RDD. That's it. You are not performing any transformations, just you are reading data.
3 transformations.
That means a flat map. Flat map is one transformation. Map.
Reduced by key.
What is this map? Transformation or action?
Transformation.
Transformation. Reduced by key.
Reduced by
Again, transformation.
Transformation. What about this?
action.
That's an action.
Execution.
Save as text file is action. Just a minute. This is action. This one, this one, this one, all the 3 things. Transformations. So that means, so finally, whenever flow will be executed, when action triggered, flow will be executed. That means RDD flow, or you can say data flow. Flow will be executed. Understand? What is the style of flow execution we will see? Remember this R1, R2, R3, R4. Sir, it kept into airplane mode. Are you able to listen me? Hello? Hello?
You create R2, right, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Sir, when you create a R2 RDD,
Yes.
first it will be split into each line, it will be split into one collection, right, sir?
That happens. This happens at first statement.
Okay.
When flat map is applied, again each line is split into one more list. Okay, got it. Instead of taking like this, directly you are applying flat map. The flat map is converting double dimensional list to single dimension, like this. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, how a data flow will be executed? Now, for some time is not a distributed cluster. Just imagine in a single node cluster. Okay. In single node cluster point of view, what will happen? Your flow is like this: R1, R2, R3, and R4. Finally, you are executing action on, but whenever you define flow, the flow will not be executed, remember. When you perform action over RDD, then flow will be executed. Now I'm saying that suppose one of the action R4 dot collect. Simply from cluster, the results will be collected into our local machine. This is action. Okay. Observe the sequence of flow. You applied action on R4, but R4 input is what? R3. R3 input, R2. R2 input, R1. First, R1 loaded. Loaded in RAM. Okay. After that, R1 computation will happen. Of course, here computation means for the R1, you did not say any expression. So simply it starts reading data from a file. Will happen. After that, execution completed. If execution completed, status will be 1. Okay. If execution completed, it waits for following RDD, which is R2. Understood? So after completion of R1, R1 won't be removed from the RAM. It waits for its following RDD. Right? Next step. This is step 1, sir. The step 2, what happens is R2 loaded in RAM. That means initiated. And next starts reading data from, start reading from R1. Because as per our flow, R2 input is coming from R1. That's why it start reading data from R1. Then data reading and immediately the whatever the transformation you have given here, the transformation will be executed. This thing simply called as R2 computation will happen. R2 computation. If successful, then R1 cleared from memory. Then R2. So whenever R2 computation successful, R1 will be removed from RAM. Remember this. Now R2 waits for R3. It's following RDD. All of you understood? Okay. Now R2 computation is over. Immediately it won't be deleted. It waits for R3. Then our next step, step 3, look at this. R3 loaded in RAM. Start reading from R2. And R3 computation is successful. Then immediately what is expected? R3 computation successful, sir.
R2 will be deleted.
R2 cleared from RAM. That means removed from RAM. And R3 waits for R4. Again, R4 came into the picture. Loaded, reading. R4 computation happened. Then immediately R3 will be removed from RAM. R3 removed from RAM, sir. R4 has to wait for anyone. After completion of R4, is there any RDD which is expecting next process? Or R4 is the last one? Sir, please start interact with me, sir. Boring. That to lunchtime.
Will execute the file tags.
So that means R4 is the last RDD in the flow. If it is the last RDD, no need to wait for some other RDD. Then action will be executed. As R4 is last RDD in flow, no need to wait for other RDD. Okay, action will be executed. What action we have given? Collect. That means the results will be collected from the cluster to the local machine. action will be executed. When our action executed, entire flow execution completed, then R4 are removed. In this way, observe the sequence of the points. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. In this way, the flow execution will happen. Okay. Here I want to add one more thing. This time my flow is like this. R1 equal to something. R2 is equal to R1 dot map or filter something. R3 is equal to R2 dot map of. Use small letters please here. Later we forget about this. Later we see detailed syntax. Map of something. R4. R3 dot map of again. R5. For R5 also R3. R6. Again R3. Now try to make it as a picture, sir. Try to make it as a picture as per this flow. Still some extension I am giving. R7 is equal to R4 dot. R8 equal to R6 dot. So this is my picture. Try to make it as a flow, graphical flow. First, what is the initial one? R1. What is the next following already? R2. R2 next. R3. Come on, look at this R4, R5, R6. For all these things, what is the input, sir?
R3.
R3, right? That means, come on, deviate this. Here R5, here R6, here I am keeping R4. Got it? Next, R7 input is R4. R8 input is R6.
R6.
I have like this. Got it. Now here, what is the problem? We will try to understand. Actually, it seems as single flow, but in fact, it's not single flow, remember. It's a 3 separate flows. This entire thing is called session, sir. This entire thing is called session. Okay, in the session, you have 3 separate flows. Got it? Now check this. Wait, I did not copy this. Sir, for first time I am saying R5, sir. I am running different jobs. First time I have 3 separate flows. Flow number 1 is like this. R1, R2, R3, R5. This is one flow. And flow number 2. R1, R2, R3, R4, R7. And flow 3. R1, R2, R3, R6, R7. Okay, this is what my flow. First time to exit, I want to execute this flow, sir. I want to execute only this flow. How can I execute this flow? We need to run some action on R5, right? Let's say R5 dot collect. So R5 input R3, R3 input R2, R2 input is R1, so that R1 to R5, the flow has to be executed. Okay. Now, already you know the flow. Now, very briefly, R1 loaded and wait for R2. So R2 loaded, computation happened. Okay, then R1 removed. Next R3 loaded, computation happened, then R2 removed. Next R5 loaded, computation happened. After that R3 removed. After that R5 action completed. After R5 action got completed, R5 will also be removed. Now tell me, after completion of the first flow execution, what is there in the memory, sir? Please answer me. After completion of first flow execution completed, now what is there in memory? That means RAM. Nothing is there, right? Because whenever your R2 ready, R1 removed. Okay. Whenever R3 ready, R2 removed. Whenever R5 ready, R3 removed. Whenever action got completed over R5, R5 is also removed. Now what is there in the RAM? Nothing is there. Okay, after some time, what I'm doing is, I'm saying R7 dot collect. I'm triggering an action on R7, where R7 is here. Now where flow has to be started, sir? From where the flow has to be started?
R1.
Exactly from R1. Already executed. Again, you are re-executing this. Again R2, R2 to R3, R3 to R4, after R4, R7. Okay, here again, after R2 completion, R1 removed, after R3 completion, R2, R4 completion, R3, R7 completion, R4, R7 action completed, R7. Again, nothing will be removed. Sorry, nothing is there in the RAM. Again, if I say R6 dot collect, again, flow has to be started from beginning, right? R1, R2, R3, and then R6, and then, so here let's keep a different number, R8 for the 6. R8. All of you understood what the scenario I want to explain. Even though it has executed P1, P2, sorry, R1, R2, R3, when I call second one, when I call second flow, again the execution starting from beginning. This is the biggest drawback of it. To overcome this drawback in Spark, you have a facility called persistence feature. Persistence feature of RDD. Sorry. persistence feature of RDD. So what is the meaning of this persistence? Try to understand now. If a RDD is persisted, after completion of following RDD execution, also, the persisted RDD is available in the RAM. The persisted RDD is available in RAM. Understand? According to this point, we go for explanation of previous flow. So I'm giving my flow here. R1, R2, R3. From here R4, R5, R6. Here R7, here R8. Actually, it seems as one particular flow. Now, in fact, this is collection of 3 flows. Sir, tell me in this picture, tell me one RDD name that will be used by many other RDDs. What is that?
R3.
R3. Whatever the RDD is used by many other RDDs, I will persist this. Okay, I will apply a persist statement. The statement is like this: R1 some reading statement, R2. For that input is R1 dot map or R1 dot filter something. After that R3, R2 dot map. When after declaring this R3, I will say R3 dot persist. Okay. Whenever I said it as persist, so next onwards, even though execution completed for the R3, that won't be removed. The data of that R3 won't be removed from the RAM. But when it will be removed, that point we will discuss after completion of this flow. Okay, on that way you can persist one particular RDD. Now just observe. First R1 initiated and loaded. R1 is waiting for R2. I said the statement called I am performing action on R4 dot collect. After that R2, once after R2 completion, R1 will be removed. After that R3 execution completed, R2 will be removed. Now R3, whenever R3 execution completed, immediately this will be persisted in RAM. And still R3 is waiting for R4. R4. Execution completed, but R3 won't be removed. Remember this point. R3 won't be removed. All of you understanding this? Next. R4 action completed. Then R4 will be deleted. Still R3 is available. Understand all of you? Still R3 available in the RAM of your cluster. After some time, you are saying that R7 dot collect. One more action you are triggering. For R7, what is the input, sir? For R7, what is the input? R5. For R5, what is input? R3. R3 already there in the memory or not? R3 already there in the memory, right?
Yes.
No need to start from the beginning. This is what reusability of an RDD. So directly it will initiates R5. R5 reads from R3. Okay. R5 reads from R3. After R5 completion, still R3 available because that is already persisted. Got it. Next, waits for R7. R7 reading from R5 completed, then R5 will be removed. After that, action over R7 is R7 action completed, then R7 will also be removed, but still your R3 is available. This will be helpful next time if you say R8 dot collect. Now for the R8 input R6. For R6 input is R3, but R3 already available. Instead of starting journey from the beginning, it will start the journey from R6 onwards because R3 already available in the RAM. All of you understood? This is the feature of persistence. That means what type of RDDs you need to persist? What is your answer, sir? What RDDs should be persisted? The answer should be here. If a RDD is used by multiple data flows. That should be persisted. Okay. Now, second question, when RDD, when persisted RDD. Will be removed from RAM. Situation 1, situation 2, situation 3. In 3 situations, the persisted RDD will be removed from RAM. Number 1, when you manually unpersist it. That means forcefully. Previously persist, now unpersist. Next, when a session expires or when session completed. Okay, suppose a small example, I have 3 flows as per previous picture. Flow 1 completed, flow 2 completed, flow 3 completed. These 3 things I prepared it as a job. I executed this. The job is initiated as a session. In session, I have 3 flows. Once all the 3 flows got completed, total execution completed. Okay, whenever all the flows got completed, session expires. Whenever session expires, automatically persisted RDD will be removed from RAM. That means when a session completed. The third one, when cluster down. That means your Spark cluster. When I cluster down. All of you understood? Suppose now if you want to define a picture based on the previous flow. Based on the previous flow, the flow you want to implement like R1, R2, R3. Let's say this one R4. This is R5. This is R6, R7. This is R8. Forget about statement. Simply what is the style? I want to persist this one. Okay. One more thing I am adding color R9. Here R5 is also used by two other flows. Okay. Now I want to keep this. I want to configure this picture means my flow coding should be like R1 equals to the first SC Spark context dot. R2 equals to R1 dot. R3 equals to R2 dot. After declaration of this R3, persist this one. R3 dot persist. R3 dot persist. Okay. And after that, as usual, your R4 equal to R3 dot. R5 is equal to again R3 dot. R6 equal to still R3 dot. But for R7, input is from R6. But for R8 and also R9, input is common. That's why after completion of this R5, say the statement R5 dot persist. Okay, now two RDDs you are persisting. Next R8 dot. R8 equal to R5 dot. Because for R8, the input is coming from R5. Dot. R9. For R9 also input is from R5. Got it. After that, you can perform different actions. First, I want to execute this one. R4 dot collect. Later, I want to execute R8. R8 dot collect. But whenever I said R8 dot collect, R3 already available. No need to start from the beginning. Because during the first flow execution, this R3 is persisted in the RAM. After that, again, once again, I will summarize this. After that, I want R9. R9 dot collect. Finally, R7. R7 dot collect. All these things are actions. When you perform actions, then only all these things will be executed one by one. That means the flows will be executed. But during that flow execution, whenever one particular RDD is computed, it is waiting for next following RDD. Following RDD also completed, previous RDD will be deleted. So if it is the style, if a RDD is commonly used by many RDDs, for every fresh flow, the flow starts from the beginning. That is the disadvantage. To avoid this feature, the facility called persisting RDD. Okay, persisting RDD. So whenever you want to, suppose after completion of 1 hour, after completion of all the flows, you feel that this is not at all required for you. Again, tomorrow, the next day, you want to execute the same thing. So till then, unnecessarily, why the persistent RDDs to be in the RAM, which will be obstacles to the other running jobs. That's why you can unpersist by saying the statement called R3 dot unpersist. R5 dot unpersist. Okay. The conclusion about this flow, this persistence. 2 points I want to highlight now. When a RDD is persisted. I am not asking why you are persisting RDD. I am asking when. When a RDD is persisted in RAM. This is my question number 1. When a RDD, persisted RDD, will be removed from RAM. When a persisted RDD will be removed from RAM. So remember, I said R1 equals to R2 equals to R3 equals to, after that R3 dot persist. After that R4 equals to something. So this is just a program declaration. That means a flow declaration. Here the important point you need to remember. When RDD is declared as persisted, the persistence will not happen. When RDD is declared, when RDD is declared as persistence, that won't happen. When it will happen? When first time flow started execution, when first time the RDD loaded into RAM, loaded into RAM. Then after completion of computation, after completion of computation on RDD, then it will be persisted. Sir, all of you understand this one. When you declare it, it won't be persisted. When you start flow execution, suppose if I say R4 dot collect, the flow execution will be started. First R1 completed, after that R2 completed, after R3, first time R3 loaded and computed. Whenever the computation is over, then that will be persisted in RAM. This should be answer for your first question. When a RDD is persisted in RAM means this is the answer. Not when declared, when first time it is loaded and computation happened. Already for second question, I have given answers to you. When persisted RDD will be removed from RAM. When persisted RDD will be removed from RAM. Come on, sir. There are 3 situations already told you.
So execution completed, our cluster is down.
That means manual unpersist. Okay. That means forceful unpersist, right?
What is the meaning of manual unpersistence?
Second one.
Session expired. Session expired.
Session expired. Third one.
Cluster down.
Cluster down.
Cluster down. Finally, what is advantage of persistence? No need to start the flow execution from the beginning. Okay. Suppose the second flow needs same RDD, which happened in the first flow. Generally, what happens again? It has to start the journey from the beginning, right? Okay. Suppose there are some flows, typical flows will be like this. Just let me copy this. R1, R2 up to R100, R101, R102, R103. Now start the count of journey length, sir. If it is not persisted, if I trigger action on R101, the journey starts from R12 up to R100 and then R101. 100 steps executed. Again, when you call R102 dot action, again flow starts from already first 100 steps executed. Again, all the 100 steps should be re-executed. Got it? So generally in other programming languages, the reusability of the code is there, but here reusability of the transformations. So finally, persistence advantage is reusage of transformations. So only first flow will take risk. Second flow onwards, available transformation onwards, from persisted onwards, the execution will happen. Okay. Yes, sir. All of you take a break. Again, after 20 minutes, I will connect you. Same link, sir.